Okay, hello, ladies and gentlemen. So I wanted to do this separate. Okay, so this is the comments about the video Nappily Ever After, and or at least the article that coincided with that video or that movie that is. And so that was a movie that is airing as of now by Sana Lathan, Nappily Ever After. And so I did a video about how my thoughts were, and then I'll probably add some thoughts in. And there's an article in the Lifestyle that kind of talks about and out of Yahoo Lifestyle, out of the allure, what their personal experience is. I read the article in the first to where the comments were, because sometimes people, like I said, from other places have different experiences, or if they have like one black parent and their hair isn't, quote unquote, their hair doesn't look nappy or isn't viewed as nappy, their experience might be different altogether. um, or you'll have some people who are rude and maybe they aren't black and they just go to these articles so that they can go to the comments and say negative things to basically ignite a fight online. So this is by Dennis, and so some of these names are probably just like avatar names, or they're just like a fake name. So anyway, it says, where I'm from is Europe, and in most of the rest of the world, the word nappy means diaper. So everyone says it. This article is exclusively American. You should do more research. Um, BTW, I'm also black and not perpetually offended. And so, like I said, some people come from different places and have a totally different experience. And so for him to be saying, him or her to be saying this, um, and here's the other thing. If it's a man saying it, he's not a woman. So nobody's looking at him the way they look at a woman. So it's going to be different gender wise as well. So it's from the title of the name, it says Dennis. This is a guy. So yeah, you don't probably get looked at the way a woman gets looked at. So you're not going to have that experience gender wise. So it doesn't matter where you come from. It's about the gender. This is talking about women's experience, not men's experience. So this one is Wisdom Girl. Sorry, but I don't buy into this. We can say it, but others can't mentality. Okay, so if you don't care for the word, then utilize better vocabulary. It will become more rare in that particular negative usage. By keeping it and using it, you are deeming it an inappropriate or appropriate word for the public usage. Like Dennis said, it means diaper in most of the world. So these are probably people who come from a whole set of different experiences. This is a woman. There are people here in the States in America who, and they're in a, they have issues with classism. So they may have grown up in a different environment or culture where that is not looked at as a negative. Or I said too, you have people who might be of mixed heritage, and so they don't feel the saying pretty soon we won't be able to say Velcro anymore. So these clearly are people who have issues, um, their own personal issues with the word. So if it didn't bother them, they wouldn't be commenting on here to begin with. So a lot of them aren't sometimes being honest. So Big Uncle Fester, okay, that's the name. So when I was growing up, nappy hair just meant uncombed and unkept. It is now another example of a word is now a term against blacks. What? People are way too thin-skinned, okay, and simply looking for a way to be insuited or feel outraged. BTW or between, oh, okay. It's time for my 15th minute afternoon nap. Out aloud to say that. Okay. So some people have issues. Some people think you should let it go. And so that sounds Big Uncle Fester. I'm just assuming that that must be a male. So it is okay to say burrhead then. Is it okay to say burrhead then? Just stop. Okay, this is by Back to Kenya Obama. Because they're not, nor are they basically. Okay, whatever that has to do with. Okay, QWERTY. Okay, QWERTY. No, it's not. That has always been a derogatory, and I will never use it. Now, this person thinks a little bit different. So, QWERTY, here comes the whites telling us, telling us that we can and what we can and can't be offended by. Meanwhile, they can be offended by most ridiculous things ever, like red Starbucks cups and Nike tennis shoes. That's true. See, and notice she got thumbs up, and she's gonna get another one from me because they're offended by red Starbucks cups and Nike tennis shoes. But you notice too, you have to be careful with some of these people that make comments on here. They may not even be black at all, and they may be pretending that they're black, and they're igniting a fight online. So you get a lot of this. Okay, I'm going to take a nap after now this article. I got exhausted reading all this mambo jumbo, and I am allowed to say nap, right? Okay, so there are negative people on here who will say negative things. Um, the word evolution from Yahoo. Okay, nap, also described as a paint roller. So maybe blacks can't get reparations from, see, this is negative, from paint and the paint industry. Russell Simmons, watch out. So this is, the Charlie Tuna. And notice they have avatars, names that, don't make much sense. Okay, I take a nappy once in a while. See, this is somebody making a joke. Okay, um us got railroaded by Sharpton for saying nappy. Now it's fashionable. And so see, these are, some people will say some really mean things, or they'll make really mean jokes and things like that because they don't have the same experiences, or they're white people that they just don't like black people, so they can't wait to see articles like this so they can make mean comments because they themselves know what this negative connotation means. So I wanted to leave this part as an example. There are more comments, and so the reason why I did this is because if you see these articles like this, people will make comments that aren't even from the same background. They don't have the same experience. Okay, so the British call a diaper a nappy, okay? And so, and some people even call Maxine Waters human. So what the hell does it all amount to? See, that was really mean. So that that's somebody that clearly is trying to start trouble. And so there you see the mindsets of people that will come on these articles and these feeds. They do it on YouTube and they take it to a whole nother place out of context just to be malicious. And so you have to watch that. Even like on Google, like all these other sites, they'll come on and just ignite fights. And they have either no experience in this, and some of them may not even be from that same culture. So they can't wait to see stuff like this so that they can make those mean comments. But anyway, like I was saying, this article goes in line with this movie that's on Netflix. And so it is very positive. It does send positive messages. It talks about the negative connotation, but it does it in a way where you can understand or relate to what somebody else's experience may be. It shows good visual. It even shows how women can feel personally about themselves, and how it means to what it means to them in terms of, their livelihood, just being a female, what we go through as women, period. So I think it's good. I'm just going on about it, and I wanted to add that in there with the comments that people make about these things. Like, so anything having to do with the Black culture or with African Americans in the West, Western society in the States, sometimes even people from the outside world or from outside of our world will make negative comments. They could be Black themselves because they didn't have the same shared experiences. They can be extremely harsh, and sometimes men, that are here in the States can be extremely harsh on women because it does depict the males being, pretty much attracted to that Western style of beauty and not really, giving face to women who want to be themselves. Now, I have seen more recently in the real world, there are some men that prefer it that women be themselves, not alter their hair and do all those different things like that and put their hair through harsh chemicals and harsh treatments to appeal to a certain group of individuals. And so, two, you have to add the classism in it as well. And so I seen a video where this guy made a post about a video about women who, there was an incident where a woman was coming out of a beauty supply shop, and the owner was an Asian male who he punched her because her son, I guess he picked something up and didn't bring it back or didn't leave it. And she went to bring the item back, but the Asian store owner, he punched the lady in the face. They had some words, and then he punched her in her face. And so there were a lot of comments behind that. And there's been several videos about, some of the people who own these beauty supply shops. And lately there's been some changes too. So there's been new people who have tried to break into this industry because it was so heavily dominated by Korean ownership. So this guy made a video, and it starts off, how did the young people say it's clickbait? Well, he starts off with a video, and it looks like he's trying to be supportive of Black females, when really he wasn't supportive. He was more saying this is why you should be mean to Black women. And so what happened in the video is there was some woman who she was really mean, and she was vicious, and she was coming at this guy who claimed he was trying to protest against the store. And the store owner, and he said, I'm here for Black women, and I'm protesting on behalf of Black women. And so there's this woman, she had looked like they were standing out in a line. He wouldn't let people in the store, and he'd only let people in a few at a time because they had these people out there protesting the store owner because he hit the lady in the face. And so this woman got mad, and she started yelling and shouting obscenities. And she was going over to the protest people, and she was saying, "You don't help us. You don't support us. We just want to buy our hair and do this." And so I don't know if that was a setup. Two, you got to watch, be careful, because you don't know if that lady was put there to do that, to make Black women look negative. And she was getting paid to do that. You also don't know if maybe he said something to her earlier on before the video was shot, and that she was, because she seemed to be the only one that was going at it. No other woman, all the other women were just standing there looking confused, and they quite couldn't make out what the whole commotion was. And so this guy made a video about how Black men who, even if they supported Black women, the Black women don't care. And it didn't really say that to me. What it said is this could possibly be a setup to make a video like this, or we don't know what was all said before this woman got ignited. And why is she the only one stepping out of line to say anything to this so-called protester? There was like one Black guy who was holding a sign up talking about he was protesting against the shopkeeper or the store owner. And so I thought it was pretty suspect, but a lot of people were commenting that they felt that it was wrong for this guy to punch the lady in the face over, an incident like that. And so these hair salons or these beauty supply shops are heavily frequented by African American women. And so a lot of people have made comments on, Black wealth and stuff. And one of those big things is the hair industry and Black women who pretty much put a lot of money and time into these beauty salons and beauty supply shops. And so a lot of people were saying, why don't Black people get into that industry, since it's so heavily frequented by us or utilized by us in terms of hair and the products and what have you. And so it is pretty much. And so the other thing is that I think you got to watch these videos on YouTube, that when they say that they're protesting, some people really are protesting, and you see that there's a real demonstration happening. But when you have some videos where they start off, be careful. There's a lot of videos, and there's males that have made these videos simply to discredit or to put down Black females, because there's this hatred online that is vented towards Black women. And so they'll make these videos, and they'll start off the video by making it seem like they're for Black women when they're really against Black females. And so they want you to click on it. They'll say something that will appeal to you, and they want you to click on that video. And then when you click on it, it's something other than being supportive. It's more being hateful or vengeful, or to put down Black women, period. And so there's this growing trend that that also I believe the reason why they made this movie, and others probably will follow, is because there's this growing trend of interracial relationships, where I've had heard an article I read in the past where the man said he wanted to be with a white woman because he wanted a mixed baby, and mixed babies were cuter. And so that has also something to do with, not only skin complexion, but hair texture. And so people feel some type of way about that, that it's not only by it being rude, that it's self-hate, and that a lot of these men will pick these women so that they haven't dealt with their own self-hate, so that they can feel like they have some kind of trophy or they've arrived in life, but there's no real love content in it. It's more, they're just kind of trying to look the part, or they think the more money they achieve, that they should now get a woman that isn't black. I've seen that happen, where some men have said that, and so that might be why, some men are wondering, well, why, how come black women are not interested in being involved with these kind of men? That's probably why, because they've heard these things, they've been very hurtful, um, and what's so sad about it is that their mother's black, they have sisters that are black, they have cousins that are black, they're black themselves, and this is how other black people will hurt other black people and make other black people not trust them and feel like, I don't want to have a relationship with this man because he doesn't even like himself. He doesn't even like who he is, you know. And so you'll get some people, I'm not saying everybody thinks like that, because everybody doesn't, but there are some that do, that, maybe something happened in their childhood, maybe they were made fun of or humiliated or harassed, or maybe they just don't like themselves. And so that's more a personal issue, but what they do is they tend to make it an issue as if it's everybody else's fault, and it isn't. And so I thought I would make this video because I wanted to add more to this movie, because I know, I think for Harriet, she made comments about the movie. It might be different on her end, but I didn't want to say a lot of stuff, but I did want to bring out those things because, I don't have a problem with people meeting each other if they really like each other, and if they are from different backgrounds, and if it's for real. But I find that a lot of times it isn't that way. A lot of times it's for style, it's for a trend, it's because the person feels like they've come into money, they've arrived, they want to look a particular way, and who they're with says a lot about how they look economically. That if they have a woman that looks like she's high maintenance, then he must have a lot of money or whatever to maintain that lifestyle and to maintain that type of a female. It's like material, more outward appearance and superficial thinking. And so this is the thing that happens a lot of time too in this atmosphere with people like this. They feel like they should be with a certain class of people. So that's why I mentioned classism as well. But some of this has to do with money. So sometimes people will pick women that they feel like, oh, she's a high priced, high maintenance type of female. She could, let's say, she may not even be white. She could be, uh, you know, black still, but she has all this money, or she looks like she wants to be with a guy that's got a lot of money. It says a lot about him. And so that's what's going on in the world. I feel like it's about looks, but I feel like it's always kind of been that way, but even more, you have it with certain groups. They feel like You know, if you want to be accepted, it's not only just how you look only, too, it's what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of car you drive, what place you live in, the neighborhood you live in, and and you know what jewelry you're wearing. And some people get into that, and it's a lot of pressure. And so if you're not able to achieve certain things in your life because you simply, you maybe you have a job, you work all the time, but you just don't make that kind of money. Some people are into that. It's like, oh, it's what kind of money the person, if they're making six figures, you know. And so you do see in the movie where this woman works and how people, and her mother is played by Lynn Whitfield, the woman who was in the movie Thin Line Between Love and Hate with Martin Lawrence. And so she's this, you know, there is a class of black people who are more bourgeois, you know, they're upper middle or upper class black people, or they're wealthy black people who they sometimes can distance themselves from black people who don't make as much money or don't come from the same, what you would call, stock in terms of economic. They don't have the same income or money, or, you know, going around, floating around in their family, you know. And so they view themselves a lot differently than other blacks. And so we do have that. And so you'll see that as well. So I want to add that in there. But anyway, this is pretty much it on the comments and extra comments added on this movie. So thanks for listening.